Hello, it is Friday, March 3rd, 2023 at 9:51 a.m. Eastern Time, USA. This is my video journal. I'm Mitch Miller. Today we're going to talk about anti-core and anti-corruption, specifically anti-corporate corruption strategy that I published on my website, almavoter.com. But before that, I just want to make a quick announcement. I acknowledge the Russian military's public display that they are present in Copenhagen, Denmark. The Russian people painted their flag on the Little Mermaid statue base there in Copenhagen. So in response to that public display, I will make public on the Mitch for Mayor website my county commissioner strategy. I'll try to word that as well as I can. The county commissioner strategy to ratifying my peace treaty, to signing, getting the peace treaty signed by all parties. So on to anti-core. Anti-core is an anti-corruption strategy. I've read the Communist Manifesto in college. I've read some Locke and things like that having to do with capitalism. I don't recall reading any capitalist writings that say that business people in capitalism must operate under secrecy. We could have totally transparent capitalism around the globe, but these business people like operating in the shadows and having their secrecy and making secret decisions that impacts the environment, the workers, the public, in usually not great ways. But because the media is owned by the ultra wealthy, they have guard towers and guards at their headquarters and things like that, they're allowed to operate in secrecy without the media really getting into it. And I'm not suggesting, the media is corrupt as well, so I'm not suggesting exposing capitalism through media is the best strategy. But I will say this: if a media outlet approached a small business owner, that small business owner would be open, upfront, transparent about their operations as a way to promote their business. Anytime a media outlet takes interest in a small business, they jump at the opportunity to be open, upfront, show their operations. Unless they're doing something real shady, which is a small percentage of small businesses, they're usually open, upfront. So I guess, you know, that's the difference. If a media outlet approaches a corporation, they sick the lawyers on them. They say, well, no comment, we cannot comment. And my father-in-law handled a lot of this stuff where you're not supposed to even talk to the media in any way, and that's their first priority, first step. So that's the difference between small regional businesses and these multinational corporations. Small business jumps at the opportunity to speak with the media and be open and upfront about their operations. Corporations operate in a pact of secrecy and often spy on each other. There's corporate espionage, which I believe has become intermeshed with our actual central intelligence and intelligence agencies. They focus more on corporate espionage than being open, transparent, and upfront with other governments about and exchanging information so that we can better strategize a world that makes sense. So, why do these corporations get to operate in secrecy? Well, I don't know, but they do. They hide things from the public. They say they don't hide things from stockholders, but they sometimes do. They ultimately have a responsibility to investors, not the public. And so we got to change that type of strategy. Corporations should benefit the public. And if we look at China's economy, Russia's economy, it's all moving towards the capitalist model. So this applies anywhere, but what I'm saying is anti-core focuses country by country. So the United States would be my focus. Any other country can adopt this strategy as well for use of with their own citizens in their own country, with corporations based out of that country. So the strategy is this. I hear it among business owners, Republicans, conservatives, these corporate types. They want deregulation, they want less regulation, they want no new regulation, right? That's the Republicans' kind of motto is no regulation, deregulation, no big government. So what I say is that we give it to them, we give them what they want. No new regulation, because, and I can see the rationale. One company is cutting corners, they ignore the safety warnings, and they have a train derailment or whatever. Then the government steps in, over-regulates the entire industry, drives up costs of products in the entire industry because one company was cutting corners and not doing what they should, right? That's hypothetically the scenario that these corporate people want us to believe. So if that's true, that's fine. We'll give you what you want. No new regulation. Anti-core will work with politicians to advocate for no new regulation and possibly going in and deregulating certain industries. But in return, and these business owners in those industries can continue to operate like they have in secrecy without transparency to the public and some transparency to their stockholders. They can continue to operate that way. So no new regulation, some deregulation in industries will give the business people what they want. But if they make one mistake, like an oil spill, a train derailment, a mass or a large food poisoning case where multiple restaurants experience food poisoning, any type of the Johnson & Johnson baby powder, they make one mistake and they have to open their company up to a transparent business model, meaning all of their emails, all of their telephone transcriptions, any board meetings, votes, even down to executives may have to have a special app on their phones so that if two phones are within proximity of each other, one of them must be recording the conversation between the two executives, and that would be transcribed and available to the public of that nation, to the United States public. Now you may say they need secrecy for secret formulas, secret recipes, trade secrets. We can protect all that. What I'm talking about is transparency for the decision making of the corporation. So if an executive is ignoring safety warnings within the company or from industry professionals, then we can see that publicly. So all of the communications within a corporation are available through a standardized platform for the public to view. Now this platform would also allow certain individuals, so say I say, Bill Earl, you read all of Casey Kohler's emails and communications. I'll read all of Seth Fisher's communications. This person read all these, so that we don't have overlap, so that we can do the oversight of the company. And then if there's suspicious communications, we can pull those out. We can email them to other individuals in the public to review, and then if enough of us agree that this is a shady situation, a shady communication, or clearly they're ignoring safety standards, not benefiting the public, we can bring that to the attention of the FBI or other investigatory authority in the United States government. So So instead of, if there is an oil spill or train derailment, instead of a slap on the wrist fine of $1 million in a $1.2 billion industry, instead of a slap on the wrist fine, the business itself, the corporation itself, has to pay for the cost, the entire cost of having technology people upload and maintain a transparent communication system within the company. So they have to they either have to start their own site to show all email, telephone, and meeting communications, or they can gear their communication infrastructure within the company to be easily adaptable to the standardized platform that that Anticor is designing, so they can more align themselves so that if they do make a mistake, it'll be easy to be transparent. And hey, business people, who's to say that a transparent corporation wouldn't be more profitable, because the public would be able to see every communication, see that the leadership has the public interest in mind along with their investors, so that they both align, that it's not just about investors and profit at all costs. So that these companies, once they become transparent, may enjoy more profit or a better footing in the business community, and this might transition all major corporations to this type of model eventually. That's kind of the goal, but we'll let you operate in secret until you make a mistake, right? It's the same thing you say with us workers down here at the bottom. You make one mistake, you have one DUI, you lose your license for 3 years, you're on probation, parole for 5 years, you're monitored for a long time. So if you have that standard for the working class, why shouldn't we have it for the executive class? Why should you be able to enjoy secrecy with your teams of lawyers? And my argument is, you take me for example. I had a felony charge, so it's probably easier to get a wiretap on me, my home, this computer, so on and so forth, than it is for an executive with a team of lawyers that can oppose anything they gather from that wiretap anyway, right? So let's bring equity to the system a little bit. And this is not the government monitoring wiretapping you, this is the public, and it's not private, it's not when you're at your house, it's just when you're at work doing things for the corporation that you are responsible to the public. So my idea is, if the FBI would lend me a couple of programmers, we could work to build the Anticor platform by reaching out to nonprofits and charities saying, will you adopt this email system, this telephone transcription system, and record your meetings using this recording transcription system and upload them to the platform one by one. These charities, these nonprofits, they enjoy tax-free status from the federal government, so in return we could incentivize, even give them a little bit more of an incentive, specific grants. If they receive grants, they have to adapt this platform. It would cost them nothing. We would apply for our own grants to build the platform through the government, in cooperation with the government, but it would be its own entity that could also speak with politicians to deregulate and work with executives and business owners to figure out the best way to deregulate while promoting and building this platform for anti-corruption strategies. I think I covered everything on Anticor. Again, I put it out there in my meeting with Maureen Callan. That's probably protected by HIPAA, but Some people disregard that, I'm sure. So that's anti-core, the anti-corruption strategy. Give the business owners what they want, less regulation, deregulation, but if they make a mistake, they have to be open and transparent. So between anti-core, transparency in the corporate system, and Periscope, transparency in the government, and specifically leadership of the government and political system, we have two anti-corruption strategies that any country, nation can adopt to end the corruption of the leadership within their country. I'm not proposing that a company or companies based in the United States oversees this for every country in the world. I think there should be autonomy within each nation. I'm happy to work and give advice to anyone trying to start these efforts in their own nations, and I'm really focused on the United States at this point. And you can read about Periscope on the Mitch for Mayor website. Anti-Core is on the Alma Voter website, which is blocked in at least one public library. We'll see. Maybe check your local library to see if it's blocked. So thanks for watching. Check out the Mitch for Mayor website so that we can bring peace to the Ukraine. Let's work together to bring peace around the world, end the killing, end the violence, end the death, and end the corruption. It's these corporate types, these crooked politicians that convince us that we need to kill each other, invade territory, and take out of greed and corruption. And it needs to end, and we need to bring transparency to the whole process. That's what democracy is, and that's what capitalism can be. There's no reason why, other than certain defense contracts, I'll give you that. Certain defense contracts require secrecy, but that can easily be worked into things if they're directly correlated and contacted. Most corporations can function in a totally transparent manner as far as decision-making processes. So, don't let these military people in the United States military that are all chummy with their corporate counterparts, and they're sneaking around doing their corporate espionage and all kinds of crap. And they're with their corporate buddies saying, oh, well, we need secrecy to build missiles and do this and do that. It's all a bunch of bullcrap. They get off on having those power positions and enjoying the secrecy, and it's time for this generation to bring it to an end. So thanks for watching, and join me next week when I talk about something else. Not sure yet, but I'm sure I'll think of it.